We are officially live. We're in the just chatting section. Welcome to the Dropshot podcast, episode fucking 3. We've updated the overlay a little bit. I have Twitch chat included now so that when I upload the videos after the fact, they'll make a little more sense and you can chat in the chat and your voice will be ever recorded for posterity's sake in upcoming videos. So keep that right the fuck in mind. A lot to talk about today. And we are going to start with, of course, patch notes.
Of course.
So we've got some patch notes. They added Deathmatch Dom. That's my favorite playlist, but unfortunately, it's only for 6v6 instead of 10v10 as well. And I don't really have a problem with 6v6, but I do have a problem with all of the maps on 6v6. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to play Deathmatch Dom. You haven't touched it either, huh, Tanner?
No, I was excited, but the more I thought about it, it wouldn't work in 10s. It would end quicker than regular Dom, so it makes total sense.
Well, in Black Ops 4, when they did Deathmatch Dom, they doubled the score you need to win.
I know, but still, even 400 with 10s, I feel like they'd have to do like 600 or something, or even higher.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have liked to have at least seen it, and then maybe it would have been faster, but I don't fucking know, dude.
Yeah.
But whatever. Gunfight custom. Oh shit, dude, we have to try that. Apparently it's like gunfight, but you pick your loadout.
Yeah. I don't like that idea, but yeah.
Why don't you like that idea?
Why not random? That's the point of gunfight. You're seeing who's more skilled with whatever random loadout you're given.
It's still cool though, because it's 2v2, no respawn on a small ass map. I like the gunfight custom idea.
Yeah, I guess. Everyone's just going to use an M4.
I don't think so, dude. I think it depends on the map. Like if it was King or Speedball, if it was Speedball especially, I would definitely use like a Bison or an MP5.
That's true.
You know? But if it was like Pine, then yeah, I'm using an M4. But then you could see some cool kids like sniping and shit. That would be fun. You're on the mission to get gunfight wins, right?
I do need some, I think. I was just going to save that for next season so I get easy XP.
Interesting. It's not a terrible idea. I also have like 1 million trial tickets though, which is...
Oh, that's true.
It's like an instant max level. But who gives a shit about XP? It doesn't matter at all. Because I don't think it increases the tiers at all. But anyway, we should do that for our mission whenever we have to.
We could, yeah.
We could. Shipment 24/7's back, which is cool, I guess. I like it because it is so fucking good for Damascus. So fucking good. Like,
yeah.
I was dreading the launcher attacker defender kills medals because I thought those were going to take the longest. Because shooting down streaks is like, you're limited by how many streaks the enemy calls, right? But
exactly.
But the attacker defender ones is just like, normally on a normal map it would be hard, but on shipment Dom it's so fucking easy. Even the Joker, like you just aim at that middle crate that you showed me, that was a good ass spot. So that was cool. And shipment 24/7 is really good if you're on the Damascus grind. I got so many fucking guns gold in the past like 3 days because of shipment 24/7. It's just fantastic. The only thing you can't do is long shots for most guns. You can get pistol long shots though. If you shoot from basically any corner of the map to another corner, it will count as a long shot for pistols. So keep that in mind. Also, you can queue for hardcore shipment only. You go to your quick play filter, you select hardcore, shipment 24/7 is there. You can't click on it from the main menu because when you do that, it's core shipment. But if you go to the quick play filter, you can queue for 24/7 shipment hardcore. So keep that in mind.
Well, we're on that. The worst game type in the game is shipment hardcore TDM. There's nothing worse than that.
That's absolutely true because the match lasts 15 seconds. I spend literally more time loading than I do playing a TDM match on shipment. They really need to increase the score to like 150 for that mode.
It's atrocious, yeah.
But Dom on shipment is super fun. Okay. Removed winter docks. Don't give a fuck about that. Moved capture the flag into the quick play filter. You haven't played that either, huh?
No, I do want to try that too.
I want to try that too. Kaylee was saying it's really fun. So I do want to look into that. Maybe after this podcast we can do that.
The pros are pushing to play that. I guess they all hate playing Dom, which makes sense. On the pro level, Dom is not exciting to watch at all. I would rather watch Capture the Flag.
Everyone in the chat during CDL was bitching about Dom. They were like, dude, this is so dumb. It takes no skill. However, that's when you can shoot bodies, which was really fucking funny to me.
Yeah.
When the London team, what are they called? The Royals?
London Broil? Oh, wait, that's a beat.
London Broil, okay. But they were like, shoot their fucking bodies, shoot their bodies every time. Sounded like me, dude. It was fantastic.
Damn, that's literally you.
Yeah. So, next, this is where we get the juice from these patch notes. MP5 nerfed. Reduced headshot multiplier, small reduction to the 10mm rounds range. This was absolutely needed, and I think this is a good nerf because the MP5 still slaps, but it's not as disgusting anymore, which I think is fantastic. You've used it post-nerf, right, Tanner?
Yeah. It's still very good, so it's fine.
Do you notice a difference, really?
Well, I didn't really use it pre-nerf because I hadn't used it in so long because I was getting Damascus.
Because you were going for Damascus, yeah. So, that's good. All of the weapon nerfs and buffs they've done, I've been a really big fan of because they haven't gone overboard in either direction.
Yeah, agreed.
Which is crazy because that's like always how Call of Duty is. Like some gun is super OP and then they nerf it so hard that it's shit. But the MP5 and the M4 are still really fucking good, so that's really cool. So next up, they nerfed the M4. Small damage decrease. This is nerf number 4 for the M4, by the way. Still the best assault rifle in the game. Small damage decrease to reduce headshot effectiveness and small range decrease. So that's interesting. Small damage decrease to reduce headshot effectiveness. I'm trying to think. I guess
I don't
if they
understand what that means.
Well, if they reduce the damage by like 2 points, for example, then you're still going to kill someone in the same number of body shots, right? But
yeah,
you won't kill someone in the same number of headshots, or you'll need more headshots to land. Because if a headshot multiplier is 1.5, then 2 points of damage all of a sudden becomes really big. So I think that's a good, again, this is a good way to nerf a gun without going overboard.
Yep.
And then the range decrease is good too. Still the best gun in the game, by the way, if anyone was wondering. So
the best gun in the game, yeah.
M13 range increase, small reduction to horizontal recoil, and small damage increase to boost headshot effectiveness. I'm really fucking excited to try the M13 again. The M13 is my favorite gun in the game as far as handling goes. Like, it handles so fucking nicely.
You think?
Yes, dude, I love it. Like, as
what
far
do you mean
as
by that?
movement speed, ADS time, recoil pattern, reload time, just by default on the M13, everything is so fucking good. I love it. But the only thing that sucks about it is the damage is fucking abysmal. So I'm really excited to try the M13 now that it's been buffed. From what I've seen and what I've heard other people talking about, it's still definitely not like a top tier assault rifle, but I still do want to try it really bad just because of how good the handling is. It's like it handles like an SMG, except it's an assault rifle.
Yeah, kind of. I've used it a little bit. Post nerf, it is definitely the recoil difference is big.
Really?
I haven't used it enough to give thorough input on that though. I've gotten like 40 kills with it probably, but I've messed around with it.
What I thought was interesting about this buff is that before the buff, excuse me, I had used the M13 a lot and I thought it had very little recoil. So the fact that they reduced it is interesting to me. Like, this thing must be a fucking laser now.
Well, it should have no recoil for taking like 8 shots at range to kill. It needs to
Yeah.
have no recoil.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So that's a good buff. I want to try that. But if you love the M13 like me and you're expecting it to be as good as an M4, it's not. So keep that in mind. Crossbow, players are able to shoot down an enemy support helo with only 3 thermite bolts. This has been adjusted to 6 to take down a support helo, and chopper gunner, and 5 to take down a VTOL. That seems kind of excessive. Especially since... Well, I mean, you shoot it once and then you have to reload it. Like, you have to shoot a support helo 6 fucking times. That does seem excessive. It should be like... It should be like 3 for a VTOL and like 4 or 5 max for a chopper gunner support helo. But the crossbow's shit anyway. It should be a secondary, so whatever. Fix for an exploit in ground war. Fix for some other bullshit. This is an amusing patch note here. Shipment. Spawn tuning to reduce the frequency of instant deaths and spawn traps. This is fake news. This is a fake news patch note. The shipment spawns are still fucking atrocious. So don't expect shipment spawns to be good ever. They're not going to be able to fix this.
I need a Zuckerberg fact check on that because that's fake fucking news.
Yeah, we're going to have to Snopes this fucking patch note. Absolutely. But it's absolutely fake news. So adjustments to spawn positions around the edge of the map for all modes. And new spawn logic for Dom. None of these things are true. So
I told you last night the Dom spawns are worse than ever. I'm absolutely convinced. They're worse than Hardpoint now, possibly, if not as bad.
That's crazy. Yeah, they're
so bad.
The spawns are terrible. I've played a ton of shipment post patch, and I can tell you categorically the spawns are not fixed. They're not better. You're still gonna spawn inside of 2 enemies, so that's fake news. And then finally, when using KBAM, controller button prompt will appear to access the social menu while matchmaking. This has been fixed. It has not been fixed. It still shows a controller icon, but that's not a big deal. So that was the patch. Not too much changed. Mostly good changes there, though. What else do you think needs to be buffed or nerfed, Tanner?
What else the Uzi needs a buff.
The Uzi absolutely needs a buff. I second that.
As somebody who only uses the M4 now, I hate to say it, but the M4 still needs to be nerfed a lot more.
Mm.
I think the pistols in general need to be buffed. I want more one taps with the Deagle.
I think the 1D should only be a 1-tap to the head. I feel like otherwise it would
range. I don't think it is anymore. I think it has a drop off
for headshots.
Yeah,
interesting. It's possible.
I'm pretty sure that was in one of the last patches.
I feel like they could buff the range. I don't even think the range they should buff. I think they need to buff the damage of pretty much all of the pistols except for the Magnum and the Deagle. Like
every pistol needs to kill in like 1 less shot than it does now, essentially.
Except for the Deagle and the Magnum. I agree with that. For sure.
I would still like some shotgun nerfs too, just because I don't want anybody using a shotgun in my lobby yet.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that. But all right. Well, we'll see. I think Uzi nerf or buff needs to happen. M13 needs to be buffed more. M4 needs to be nerfed more. And then all of the assault rifles would be pretty in line with each other. I think they would all be pretty good.
Yeah.
EBR needs to be buffed to have way fucking less recoil than it does. And that's all I can think of right now, but let's move on. There's team gear in the shop now, which is pretty cool. By the way, if you've been wondering where the fuck this is, when you go to the store, you have to scroll. You go to the franchise section where you buy COD points, and then you have to scroll down. And that's where all the little team gear is. So basically, there's a bundle for each team, each of the 8 teams. And it comes with a sticker, an emblem, an operator outfit that works on every operator except for Nikto and Mara. and I want to say a weapon camo.
Yeah, weapon camo.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool if you're into the CDL thing and you want to rep a team. I'm all about the rocker because Gary V is a part owner of that team, and I'm a big Gary V fan. So
I know his name and I know his face because I looked him up after you said that, but I don't. What would I know him from? What do you like him from?
he does like a bunch of podcasts, and he does a lot of like speeches about how to like grow social media presence, how to be an entrepreneur, start your own business, shit like that. Kind of like a motivational speaker, kind of, but I take umbrage with that phrase, so, but that I guess would be like the best way to describe him.
He's a filthy rich piece of shit, essentially,
He's
right?
super fucking rich, yeah. His life story is really interesting. You should look into him, Gary V.
We'll get him on the podcast next week.
We'll get him.
Make some calls.
Yeah, I've sent an email. I'm gonna follow up on that next week. So we should have him on the Dropshot podcast for episode 5
the
at the latest. Week. Yeah, naturally. So they fixed the reset bug, so that's cool, I guess. The way they fixed it for people that did get the prompt and pressed yes, they just rolled them back. So sucks for them, but I mean, they fixed it, so that's something. Bloodless TV, Scar, AK buff. I don't think either of those need a buff, honestly. The Scar kills really fast, and especially now that they've fixed the recoil pattern, the Scar is really good. And the AK is insanely good. I think the AK is like the perfect example of how assault rifles in this game should be. Like, that should be the benchmark for the assault rifles.
I disagree.
If you're better than an AK, you need to get nerfed. You can be different than an AK, but you can't be just better, right? And then if you're worse than an AK, you need to get buffed. Again, they shouldn't all be the same assault rifle, so they should be different than an AK, but they should have an overall level that's similar to an AK. I think that's like this. That should be like the benchmark for how the assault rifles in this game handle. Tanner disagrees. Tell me more.
I think the AK needs a ADS, aim down sight decrease. I want to I mean, with the M4, you can scope in so fast. I can look down my iron sights.
But the M4, but the M4 is overpowered, so you need to nerf the M4 to make it less good.
That's true.
I don't think you should make the AK.
Like SMG.
Yeah, I don't think you should make the AK much better because it's already really good. So if you made an AK better, like as good as an M4, then you just have 2 overpowered guns in the game.
I would raise the fire rate slightly on the AK then. It needs something. Nobody uses it. It's not good.
That is true. No one does use the AK.
Think of it the last time you got killed with an AK. It doesn't happen.
Well, it's because, dude, it's because all the people that want to do really well use an M4 because it's so busted. So if you made the M4 as good as other guns, the meta would shift drastically. But then it might be an SMG meta, honestly. So I don't know. I'm gonna blow my nose for 1 second. So go to take us through the next fucking note, Tanner. About hidden changes.
Hidden changes. Hey, were there hidden changes in this patch? Absolutely. There always is. They do every time. They don't tell us. Just put it in the patch notes, Ashton Williams. I'm going to fucking tweet at her right now and tell her to put this shit in the notes.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
It's a disaster.
Put it in the notes.
And what sucks about hidden changes, I mean, there's a couple things. Number one, we don't know about the changes that happened. So we load up the game post-patch. We read the patch notes. We do our due diligence. And then everything that wasn't mentioned, we expect to be the same. But it's not. Like, they change so much besides what they mention, and the things they do mention, they fail to change. So the RAM with extended mags is supposed to have 50 rounds. It still doesn't. That was in the patch notes. And then there were a bunch of things that were not in the patch notes that they did change. So let's go through those. Number one. Playing the objective no longer recharges your field upgrade. So the way field upgrade works is if you get a kill, so your field upgrade has a static recharge time. Let's call it 3 minutes. This isn't an exact number, but it's a rough estimate to illustrate the example. So you have stopping power as your field upgrade. If you do nothing for 3 minutes, you'll have stopping power available. But if you have 3 minutes left on your timer and you get a kill, instead of needing 2 minutes and 59 seconds in the 1 second it took you to get that kill, you get your timer knocked down by like 10 seconds. So now you only need 2 minutes and 49 more seconds to have stopping power available. In addition, before this patch, if you capped a point in domination, you'd get the same speeding up of your field upgrade recharge. That doesn't work anymore for objective. This was almost certainly unintentional. I can't imagine they would do this on purpose, which is probably why it wasn't in the patch notes, which kind of makes it excusable, but they still haven't really mentioned that they're aware of this issue. It could be on the Trello board though. So let's take a look.
Yeah, let's take a look at the 1980s website. Let's pull that up.
Yeah, let's pull that up. It is not on here.
That's crazy.
And this is still broken. Selecting Field Upgrade Pro causes the player to use a tactical or lethal. It's still in progress. This still hasn't been fixed. This has been a bug since the beta. And this game came out fucking 3 months ago and some change. So dumb. So anyway, it's absolutely not in here. So they're still unaware of this. So you're probably never going to have your field upgrade recharge while you're playing the objective, which is not the end of the world, but it's annoying. They also said that they were going to make the SCAR, they were going to make the SCAR, they were going to increase its horizontal recoil control. But take a look at this picture. This is the new recoil pattern. They did adjust the horizontal recoil a tiny bit, but they more than that adjusted the vertical recoil to a huge margin. So the recoil pattern is way less than it used to be. This is why I'm really excited to try the SCAR, because the SCAR does a ton of fucking damage. And now, without attachments, it has a really good recoil pattern. So if you throw on like an operator foregrip or something, this thing is going to be really fucking good. So I'm excited to try the SCAR. How did you like it, Tanner? Because you've tried it post-patch.
I was just playing with it a little bit. It definitely, the recoil is super noticeable.
Super noticeable. Okay.
It was, it'll definitely, I think, be a good gun now.
Yeah. So that'll be, that's a good buff, but they should have mentioned that they increased the vertical recoil in addition to the horizontal.
Also, see, again, another gun that's better than the AK, the SCAR, because I have really quick ADS with it, and it's got less recoil than an AK.
But it only has 20 bullets in the mag by default.
Yeah, but I just use a 30 rounder. It hits hard though. Yeah,
but you could put. I don't think it's better than an AK. I think they're very different.
Okay, I think it is.
Different.
Okay.
I mean,
it's better.
Does the SCAR actually ADS faster than an AK?
Oh yeah. Well, you can put the yeah.
I don't think that's true.
My setup does. I think it is.
I think your AK setup's wrong then.
Could
I think
be.
if you ran like the same stock and stippled grip tape and shit on the AK, I think it would draw faster, if not just as fast.
I could run no stock attachment, but then the AK recoil's too hard to control with that. That's the difference.
That's interesting.
So, yeah.
That's interesting.
Keep that in mind.
I'll keep that in mind. Another change that they didn't mention, and this one is so egregious, they changed the location of the air conditioning unit on Crash. This is a super popular spot to like camp, basically, so that you're looking at the crashed helicopter. Before, the air conditioning unit was pretty low, so when you were looking over the wall toward mid, you had most of the wall covering your body, so it was a really good camping spot. They've elevated that air conditioning unit, so you can still get on top of it, but when you are, the wall in front of you that's between you and the crashed helicopter covers like almost none of your body because you're so high up in the air. So they just like nerf that camping spot, which I'm not against, but they definitely should have mentioned something like this in the patch notes, especially with how fucking noticeable it is. Like, this is crazy to me.
I mean, like, seriously, do these things get pushed out and like the person publishing the patch notes like doesn't even hear about it and they legitimately don't know? Or, like, does something get put in the update that they're not expecting and they're not thinking it's going to go live? Like, what's the issue?
That's a good question, because yeah, it's either they don't want to tell us, or yeah, which I think is more likely. You're probably right. Whatever they talked about, or whoever writes the patch notes, is not the same person, or is not even on the same team as the person who actually does the changes. But it's fucking unacceptable for a AAA Call of Duty title to not release full patch notes.
No.
Some of this stuff they probably accidentally broke, like the field upgrade thing, but this was very obviously intentional. You can't accidentally raise a structure on a map.
Yeah, of course.
You know? So the fact that they didn't put this in the notes is completely unacceptable.
Agreed.
So that's about it for the recent patch. Next up is the more interesting part of this podcast, in my opinion. News and upcoming changes. So there's a lot of shit that was announced since our last podcast, and a lot of it has to do with kind of the industry and whatnot, and the future of Call of Duty, and how it's going to pertain to this year, kind of, but more importantly, more Call of Duty titles to come. So first up is not exactly related to that, but it appears that double tiers in Modern Warfare may be coming next weekend. So that's kind of cool, because season 2 is coming soon. So if you're not at tier 100 yet, they're going to give you next weekend to close in on that with double tier XP. I got tier 100 like a fucking month ago, so I don't give a shit about this, but it's cool that they're allowing for a good opportunity for everyone to catch up on that.
Yeah, agreed.
So let's see. There was another community update yesterday. Let's see. Anything really interesting here? Oh, this is cool. We're planning a few things for next week, like some 2v2 grind action maybe. What is the grind playlist again, Tanner? Do you know?
Oh God, I don't remember. What is grind?
When I originally saw grind, I thought it was the map, and I was super excited because that's such a good map. And I feel like that map would actually play really well in Modern Warfare.
Really, you think?
I do. I honestly do. I think mid would be a complete clusterfuck, but there's a lot of room to not die to explosives. Like, it's not as crazy as people think. If you're actually by the ramp that's like on the lower section of mid, you're gonna die. But that's always the case in any Call of Duty game. But if you're like above that, if you're like at the higher elevated point that's looking at that ramp at mid, that room is pretty fucking big. You can avoid explosions pretty easily there. And then the same goes for the other side that's like before mid, that little entryway area. A lot of room. There's a lot of open space, and I think open space plays really well in this game. So
good point.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, and there's a lot of long sight lines on grind too, especially the side. I mean, one of the sides of grind, I guess. I can't really describe it very well, but I think grind would play really fucking good in Modern Warfare. We'll see if we see it. I hope we do, but I don't even know if it was in that leaked patch or that leaked map. What's it called? Document. In fact, I don't think it was. I think it's a Treyarch map, which is why it probably won't be in this game.
Oh, yeah.
So, but like Black Ops 4 used Infinity Ward maps, so it's possible, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. Anyway, I don't know what the 2v2 grind playlist is going to be, because I don't know what grind is actually. But more importantly for me, a playlist for shipment 24/7 and separately a shipment or a shoot house 24/7 playlist. That's fantastic, because shipment 24/7 is really good for a lot of camo grinds, but it's not good for all of them. And for whatever gun it's not good for, you can go to Shoot House 24/7, and that's going to be the perfect fucking playlist. In addition, Shoot House is an excellent map. So the fact that that's going to have its own dedicated 24/7 playlist, I think is going to be fucking awesome. That's a really good playlist if you're doing camos for sniper rifles and marksman rifles and assault rifles, because you can get long shots on Shoot House, but it's still a small map, so you're not going to be running around like an asshole with your dick in your hand for a ton of time.
Damn.
You know? So that'll be really fucking cool. And that's going to be next week. So hopefully this patch comes out Tuesday, so that we can see it all next week. Really excited about that. We also have some XP events planned, like double weapon XP. That'll be cool if you're on your camo grind. Double tiers, which we mentioned, and then regular double XP, which doesn't matter. And then that's about it. We want to thank all of you for the support with the Outback Relief Pack. We did talk about that in the last episode of the podcast. They're donating all the money that they got from anyone who bought the Outback Relief Pack. And they said they will announce how much money they raised from that for the Aussies. So I'm sure it was quite a fucking ton of money.
Was fire still going on?
I don't think so. I think they've mostly been contained, which is good. It better be $1 million. Yeah. Minimum. I know, Crichton. It's hard for me to estimate. I don't know how many people buy shit, but I'm sure it was a good amount of money, so that's cool. So that's about it for that community update. The COD League is live. Did you watch it at all, Tanner?
No. The COD League, that was when I was out of town last week.
Yeah. It was
Unfortunately, I did not.
It was pretty fun to watch, actually.
I did watch some highlights of it. I think Dallas Empire versus Chicago Huntsman. That was the big one of the bigger matches.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I liked the fact that they were doing Dom, but most people in the chat didn't. When I was watching, I was watching it live, and like I could see all the player input. The biggest things that were talked about, that were complained about, I should say, is the fact that Dom is one of the 3 game types that are in the competitive scene. And the other thing was the Codcaster, which is like the viewing platform for the league. They're doing this third person thing that no one likes as a spectator. And they also are not showing everyone's KD, like individual KD and score, the vast majority of the time, and that should be a staple in the overlay for the COD League. So
that, I believe, will get fixed. I mean, I don't think that's really Infinity Ward. That's whoever's in charge of this league. You know, that's a different group of people. That apparently will get ironed out. I remember reading that on Twitter saying, like, you know, this is their first time using this. They're definitely going to make some changes. And they heard everyone complaining about third person. I thought third person was great. I just heard they were using it way too often and like switching between it too much.
I liked third person too, Tanner. I was surprised when I saw everyone complaining. I think they want to like role play as like a COD pro, so they want it to be in first person all the time. Because when they're like super close, then they can imagine themselves being fucking Scump or whatever.
Being that person, yeah.
Exactly. But I thought the third person was fine, and I thought they did it pretty well. But regardless, it was the first CDL thing. It was the first time they used Codcaster live, so I second whatever they said about improvements coming. I'm sure that's going to happen. So Crichton says, regardless of what people purchased with respect to the Outback Relief Pack, they should make it $1 million. That would go a long way. That would engender a lot of support for the company. And I'm of the opinion that things like that are actually better for their bottom line in the long run, because even if they lose 500,000 that they didn't gather in proceeds, but they instead just decided to donate, they're going to make up for that 500,000 in the long run with how much good publicity that is. So I think that would be a win-win-win. It would be a win for everyone. The community would be happy. Australia would be happy, obviously, and the company would make more money in the long run. So I hope they do that, but that remains to be seen. Let's see here. The COD sponsors are live. So this is interesting. Well, this is kind of interesting, but we'll get into the really interesting aspect of it. Mountain Dew, a staple of fucking obese, diabetic gamer nerds everywhere, is sponsoring Call of Duty, obviously.
Wait, have you ever had Mountain Dew Voltage, that blue one?
I don't drink fucking soda,
Dude,
and I certainly don't drink Mountain
listen,
Dew. So
next time you see a Mountain Dew Voltage in the store, please get it. Please get it.
Why?
It is delicious.
Really?
It's charged with raspberry citrus flavor. It's really, really good.
Interesting. Okay.
It's fantastic.
Well, the reason that Mountain Dew is sponsoring Call of Duty, you've heard here first, because it works on dumb pieces of shit like Tanner.
Yeah.
Oh, the raspberry game fuel, it's so good. So
I'm buying that immediately.
So
it worked on me. Yeah.
It worked on you. You're the target demographic, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, I am.
Tanner, the new Mountain Dew Voltage ambassador. Yeah, for real.
Oh yeah, Crichton knows.
Yeah, Crichton gets it. So PlayStation is also sponsoring them, which makes sense, especially because CDL is only played on PlayStation.
Mistake.
Absolutely. We talked a little bit about that in episode 2. Scuff Gaming, and if you don't know what that is, basically they make aftermarket controllers for consoles. So like all the pros use a Scuff controller, and they basically have extra buttons on them, so you can have more keybinds essentially to use on your console controller. They have like paddles on the back of them or whatever. So they're sponsoring them. And then Astro Gaming. And Astro is a company that makes primarily, if not exclusively, headsets. I used to have an Astro A150, I think it was called, like wireless headset. The quality was really good, the sound quality, but the receiver wasn't great. But it also lasted me quite a long time, so I don't know. Anyway, that's another sponsor. And then a new sponsor is the U.S. Air Force, which is interesting. It makes sense because Call of Duty's target demographic is fucking little kids, principally young men. So high school aged boys play Call of Duty by and large. And any military branch would be smart to target that demographic by a sponsorship, for example, like the Air Force has done, because you're targeting all these kids who are not of military age yet, but they are getting there. So that's a smart sponsorship, and this is the United States taxpayers' tax dollars at work. So it's an interesting dynamic there.
The future of our Air Force is looking bright with COD players.
Yeah. They're probably, I guess the Air Force are the ones who control the drones, because they're looking for all these cracked out Adderall kids to just drone strike some Yemeni refugees. So
yeah, damn.
Keep that in mind. Yeah. So anyway, those are all the sponsors. And then what else do we have here? What I think is most interesting in the way of sponsorship is this. Activision. And Activision is partnered with Blizzard now. So Activision is responsible for Blizzard. Activision/Blizzard. Activision owns Blizzard. And Blizzard is partnered with Call of Duty, because Activision also publishes Call of Duty. So all of Activision's games, all of that publisher's games, so Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, Destiny, they signed a deal with YouTube, and YouTube is owned by Google, by the way, to have all of the official Call of Duty League tournaments, streams, everything streamed exclusively on YouTube. So there's no more Twitch streams of the Call of Duty League. It's all going to be done on YouTube. This is interesting to me because right now, the YouTube live streaming platform leaves much to be desired. For example, you can't go full screen with the chat window. You can go full screen to where you see the whole game full screen, just like a YouTube video. But if you want to see the chat panel, you have to like exit to the browser. So maybe I can show you guys an example right now. Let's see. Okay, Drunken Peasants are live, so I'll show you guys right now. So you're seeing right here, here's the chat, right? Oh, hold on. Sorry, let me pull it up. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I say.
So here's the chat on the right side right here. And then here's the stream. Okay. So you see the chat in this pane on the right side. My webcam's kind of covering it up, but you guys can still see it. If you go full screen, you can't see the chat anymore. Now, when you go to Twitch and you look at a Twitch stream, so we can watch Summit 1G, for example. There is a way to go full screen, just like YouTube can, but there's also a way to have it so this is full screen, except there's a chat pane on the right side. And YouTube doesn't have this. So this is one example of many things that the YouTube live streaming service is missing. It's also missing sub badges, emotes, cheers, monetization options that are really good for the broadcaster. So why am I saying all this? The fact that YouTube / Google spent, where's the fucking link? Here we go. Sorry. The fact that YouTube / Google spent millions, tens of millions of dollars for this exclusivity contract should tell you that YouTube is going to be massively stepping up their live streaming platform, especially with respect to gamers. So if you really like Twitch as a viewer, as a spectator, if you stream yourself, if you're thinking about streaming, you need to keep in mind that YouTube is making some fucking moves. And again, YouTube is owned by Google, which is a far bigger company than Twitch. And they have far more users that are already on their platform than Twitch does. So this is, if anything, an omen for things to come. And you can expect YouTube gaming and live streaming to get way fucking better soon, because they would not have spent this much money if they did not plan on putting a massive amount of resources, development, time into making their live streaming platform, number one, better, and number two, getting more people to switch from Twitch and from Facebook Live to YouTube. And YouTube, being owned by Google, has by far the most resources behind it. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this.
YouTube Live is absolutely horrendous.
It is.
Also, don't forget, you said Google, YouTube's a bigger company, but isn't Twitch owned by Amazon now?
Twitch is owned by Amazon. So
they're also a huge company.
They are also a huge company, but Amazon pays a lot less attention to Twitch than Google does to YouTube.
Good point.
But in addition to that, what is the number one search engine in the world? Google, obviously. Right?
Ask Jeeves.
Okay. Guess what the number two biggest search engine is in the world, or search platform?
I don't know.
YouTube.
Yahoo. Really? Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is owned by Google. So when you're some new frog and you go to Google, right? And I say Call of Duty live stream, and I type that into Google, the first thing that comes up is a bunch of YouTube videos. So if they make this so that it shows 3 live streams of 3 big streamers, that's going to be huge. And now you see Twitch is listed in the directory here, but this is what I mean by they're going to be making moves. They're going to change this algorithm. They're not going to fucking show Twitch on this front page. There's no way.
Not at the top one, no.
Not on the first page. Yeah, there's no fucking way. So I think that's going to be really big. And in addition, let's say Twitch has 100 million users on it. Well, YouTube has 2 billion users on it. So they have just a bigger pool to draw from, and they have more people that they can drive to live streams. So you should be real worried about YouTube if you're Twitch/Amazon right now.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
Pretty much the only reason that YouTube is signed or did that contract with Call of Duty, because COD doesn't bring in nearly the amount of viewers as other esports. It's because the head of gaming at YouTube/Google is a former Call of Duty caster and big name in the Call of Duty community. So he's making all these deals with YouTube and Call of Duty. Also, I know you don't really follow it, but 100 Thieves, you know, the big organization, they've had 2 or 3 of their big content creators recently switch from Twitch to YouTube.
Yeah.
And so pretty soon, probably all of those guys will be streaming on YouTube soon, because they're, you know, they're making deals. And again, those guys are very close with the guy who's in charge of YouTube gaming, because they were like casters together. They grew up, you know, in the Call of Duty community together.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
They have to link. Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's good information to have for sure. That's really interesting. And in addition, like Mixer, which is owned by Microsoft, another huge company, spent a bunch of money to get exclusivity contracts with big streamers. Imagine if Google starts doing that.
Yeah.
With how much money Google has. They can buy so many fucking streamers. So what I think is going to happen, and I think this is the first sign of this, once they have sufficiently improved YouTube gaming to where they think the platform has as many features and is as good or better than Twitch, then they're going to start buying big streamers and switching them to YouTube gaming.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
People don't care what the website URL is. They just want everything that Twitch has. Twitch has the best layout, the best everything still. But, you know, the minute YouTube has better aspects to it that people like more, fuck Twitch, they're gone. People don't care, you know. They just they want more interaction for themselves.
Exactly. And another thing, when you talk about Mixer and how much it's failing right now, one of the big reasons for that is that if you're the average Twitch viewer, you don't have a Mixer account and you don't know how Mixer works. But how many Twitch users do not have a YouTube account? How many Twitch users do not already know how YouTube works? How many Twitch users are not already familiar with YouTube as a website? Almost none. So the switch from Twitch to YouTube is going to be a lot easier from the viewer perspective than the switch from Twitch to Mixer, for example. So I think YouTube has a lot going for it.
Also, I just went on Mixer because I hadn't been on here in a long time, and I see Shroud has 9,000 viewers. If he was on Twitch right now, he would probably have 40. That dude like never dropped below 20 when he was on Twitch.
Yeah. But if you imagine, like, that's a good example. If you imagine if Shroud had switched to YouTube streaming instead of Mixer, I think he would have taken a viewer cut initially, maybe. But because YouTube has even more viewers more users than Twitch does, his numbers might have been the same, if not better than 40, or than whatever his average on Twitch was. Especially if YouTube, again, was a better live streaming service, which it certainly will be in the near future.
Yeah.
You know. It sounds like YouTube and Mixer are making for some decent competition for Twitch, says Crichton. You also have to look at the double dip situation for profits as well. For example, Dr. Disrespect makes a shitload on Twitch as well as his YouTube videos. Wouldn't switching to one platform hinder profits with how YouTube pays its clients? I don't know the specifics, but that might be a point to think about. Well, the way most streamers make a bunch of money on YouTube is through videos, obviously. Most people who stream on Twitch do not stream on YouTube. But they put videos on YouTube, And those videos get a ton of views and they get a ton of ad revenue. The way they make money on Twitch is through subscribers, through cheers, which are donations, and through ad revenue within the live stream. But YouTube could do all of those things. And then you would get all of the YouTube monetization that you get from your actual videos. That would stay the same. But if YouTube also had a robust donation system like Cheers does, and it also had a robust subscriber system like Twitch does, and they also incorporated mid-live stream ads like Twitch does, I think you could get the same, if not more, profits on YouTube. But again, like I said, that's contingent on YouTube incorporating all of those really good live streaming bells and whistles that Twitch has right now. So it's just going to depend on when and to what extent YouTube improves its live streaming capabilities and interactivity. But regardless, I think that's interesting that Call of Duty is going to be streamed exclusively on YouTube. And if you're unhappy with the platform right now, I think it's going to get better. So
yeah, it'll get much better over time.
Yeah. So what else do we have here? Oh yeah, this is interesting. Modern Warfare's monetization is paying off. So if you guys don't remember, before Modern Warfare launched, there were leaks that they were going to do loot boxes just like Black Ops 4, which was basically RNG. They release a new weapon and you have to get lucky and open a crate to get that weapon. There was so much community pressure that they did away with that system, and now they have the totally different system with the tiers that everybody earns. There's the premium stream of tiers to where you can get additional shit that's cosmetic only, and then they release again cosmetic only bundles in their shop. And the monetization model that they've chosen, that the community is much more happy with, is also making them a ton of money. Everyone that likes Call of Duty should be fucking thrilled about this, because what that means is for the next Call of Duty, they're going to be able to look at Modern Warfare and say, okay, we changed this so that weapons aren't locked behind RNG fucking slot machines, and we also got a shit ton of money with that policy, so we're going to do it again. So this is the best possible news as far as content for future Call of Duties that you could possibly have. And I'm really excited that they've been making a fuck ton of money on this model. I'm thrilled about it.
Exactly.
In fact, the game has had a 4% increase in revenue in its first quarter compared to Black Ops 4. So not only is it doing well, it's doing better than the last game, which did use the RNG fucking slot machine system. So that's fantastic. I was really fucking excited to see this article pop up. It's a really short article. You guys can find it on Charlie Intel. Modern Warfare's new monetization model is reportedly paying off. I'm not going to go too much more into it than that, but just be happy about it as a player. This is also super interesting. Activision Blizzard to use Google Cloud as new hosting infrastructure. Again, Google. They're making deals with YouTube to stream exclusively there, which is owned by Google. They also have this deal where Google Cloud is going to be the hosting infrastructure. This is good because Google... Oh, fuck. Because Google has a ton of fucking good infrastructure and money, and their shit works well. So this might mean that instead of 12 hertz servers, we're going to get higher hertz servers. So this is good to see, because whatever hosting infrastructure they're using now is not great. So you can expect better hit reg, maybe higher hertz servers, more reliability if they do start using Google as their server hosts. So this should be interesting. Did you happen to look at this at all, Tanner?
I had heard about it, yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to see when it's going to take effect.
I thought it was no time soon. Like, not even in this game title. Like, from what I remember seeing on Twitter or something, I believe, it basically probably wouldn't even begin to take effect until the next title.
Yeah. So nothing in this article mentions when it will happen. But here's an excerpt from the article about why you would like Google to be hosting the servers. Quote, players will benefit by experiencing premium network quality of service, including low latency and packet loss when playing high-fidelity games on any device. They also will have optimal personalized interactions, as Activision Blizzard can tap into Google Cloud's AI tools to offer curated recommendations for in-game offers and differentiated gaming experiences. So maybe when they're advertising in-game bundles and shit to people, that'll get better with Google's like personalized ad experience that you already are familiar with if you use the internet at all. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, there's nothing in here about when it's going to be released. Hopefully with Black Ops 5, which is going to be next year's launch or release. So that'll be interesting. And then lastly, we already went over that. Okay, and then last for this section, Season 2 launches on the 12th. That is in 11 days. There have been no fucking leaks about Season 2. So, what do you expect with Season 2, Tanner?
Well, Rust has been Rust is a one that's supposedly coming. I heard Rust and Terminal are coming in this update. I don't remember who said that. It was one of the leakers on Twitter. That's what it sounds like, though.
Okay.
And the talk is Battle Royale coming? Like, you would think we would hear all these leaks, but the fact that we haven't been, it's like, is Battle Royale even coming? I don't care at all. I really hope it doesn't come. It'll just pull people away from our finding lobbies.
That's a good point.
Don't care. I'm not going to play it unless they do something completely different. But like you said, like in the last episode or something, Battle Royale games are dying off. It's kind of ending.
Yeah, that fad
not
is
as popular
ending.
as it was. Fortnite is as dead as it's ever been, pretty much.
Yep. Apex dead. PUBG
Apex
dead.
is dead. PUBG hasn't been popular really for
quite a
year.
while. Yeah.
It's they also have good player base. Don't get me wrong, but at their height, they're not even close to it. So that fad is ending,
which I'm thrilled about, by the way. I don't know.
I'm
Battle Royales.
I'm wondering. I mean, what else was that? That's what a lot of rumors were. Is what was that 58 gig or whatever patch we got? Were they putting in something on the back end to release BR in Season 2?
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be something big coming in Season. There was nothing that made up that much space. Have you ever had a game that had nearly that large of an update ever?
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's something they put in there that we don't know about yet.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think it was the BR, though, because the BR, if it does get released, is going to be a separate game. So I don't think they would have put it into the patch for Modern Warfare anyway.
Okay.
So what I think it probably was, I think, number one, you're right. There will almost certainly be new maps with Season 2. Hopefully Rust, which is tiny and a clusterfuck, and that would be fun. Terminal, hopefully, please fucking God, give me Terminal. That would play so well on this game. It's big, but it's not too big. It's designed fucking perfectly. It's one of the best maps in any Call of Duty ever, right? Ever, right?
Yeah.
Ever. So that would be fantastic. And I want it sooner rather than later so I can use it for as much of the game cycle as I can. And then in addition, I think there's going to be some new weapons. Because there were new weapons with Season 1. There were two, the Ram and the Holger. So hopefully it's not as shit as a crossbow. I think they would be traditional weapons. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a new marksman rifle, because there are only 3 in the game right now. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a new sniper, because there are only 3 in the game right now. I would be surprised if there was a new AR or SMG, because there are a ton of SMGs already, and there are also a ton of assault rifles, and we just got an assault rifle. I would be relatively surprised if there was another LMG because those aren't super popular. And again, we just got one in season 1. So I think there will be new weapons, and I think there will probably be 2, just like season 1. And I think that one of them will almost certainly be either a marksman rifle or a sniper rifle. Quote me now, recall it later. Trust me.
I think Backlot, the Call of Duty 4 map, is supposedly coming back in this. Also, the Gaming Revolution on Twitter, that's what I was trying to find. So he thinks that big update put in was our 100 plus player ground war mode, either 75 versus 75 or 100 versus 100. Because I guess there was new stuff put into the files, and it's code named MP, not Battle Royale. And he believes strongly that there's a larger ground war game type, or they're updating it. Something is changing that's coming in season 2, because the image was updated, files were updated with that last patch. He said Battle Royale could still come with season 2, but right now we don't have an official date, so it could be later than that, or maybe halfway through season 2. But he believes there's going to be a big mode coming out at the start of season 2.
That would be interesting. So I would be excited about a 100v100 fucking ground war map or playlist in Modern Warfare if the game wasn't buggy as fuck, right? Buggy as fuck. We still crash as PC players on ground war consistently.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to all the getting inside of buildings and glitching and shit, the game's been out for 3 months, by the way. I don't know if they could do a 100v100 mode without replete crashes, bugs, glitches, exploits, you know. I think it would be fun, but I just don't think, given the track record with how buggy and shit ground war is right now, I don't think they could do a 100v100 mode very well.
I mean, yeah. Plus, it's like, if they're working on that or a battle royale, it's like, we don't need that, nor want it. Most players don't even want it. Just get those fucking workers working on the main game and fixing our bugs and get all this stuff figured out.
Yeah, there are so many bugs that they still haven't fixed. It's fucking insane. And it's like they're focusing on releasing a ton of new content, and there has been a lot of new content for how short the game's been out. Like, there have been a lot of new maps, there have been a lot of weapons, operators, maps. It's cool. Like, I like that. But you really do, like you just said, Tanner, you really do, first and foremost, before you release new shit, make sure the shit that's in the game already fucking works. Like, it's crazy that there are still so many bugs that are in the game, and especially some bugs that have existed since beta, like the Field Upgrade Pro, where you throw a grenade instead of choosing one of your fucking upgrades.
Yeah.
So I agree with you on that 100%. Crichton says, BR games are dying off because no one is taking advantage of making a great BR title. Unless they're currently making one, but at the point of release, it might be too little, too late, depending on the title. I agree with that. I think, though, that if Call of Duty released a Battle Royale, it would get a lot of players, because even though the genre is dying, Call of Duty is such a fucking massive brand that they would pull players by virtue of that alone. And like you said, if it was done really well, it would be super popular, irrespective of the fact that the genre itself is dying. Completely optimized 100v100 player mode would be an insane achievement for not only COD, but all of video gaming in general. Crichton, I agree 1000%. And I think you are right to have a skeptical tone when you say that, because there's no way they can do 100v100 optimized well, like you just said. They still haven't fixed stuns and flashes for PC players. Yeah. Bloodless TV. Excellent point there as well. There are so many bugs. Like, we could talk about bugs for fucking hours, honestly. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. So And then that about covers it for news and upcoming changes. Anything to add with respect to recent patches, leaks, upcoming news, Tanner?
Yeah, Ghost. They think Ghost Operator is coming in season 2 as well. That's pretty much been all but confirmed.
That would be interesting.
Every single person in the game will be buying that though and be running around with it if it looks good.
That's true. Ghost will look good. That's one thing they have done well. The operators look pretty cool, and the operator outfits and shit look fucking cool.
I'm hoping for a lot more outfits also in season 2 because you know, I don't know. They also said a while back they wanted to do more realistic looking operators. That may be interesting. You know, maybe just be adding in some U.S.
I don't know
Army
what that means.
Soldiers.
Oh, okay, okay.
I mean, not
like a
so
generic
much,
looking kind of dude.
Yeah, not so much like somebody like Nikto or like, you know.
Yeah.
More generic, but maybe make them look dope. I don't know.
That would be cool. That would be super cool, actually. Like, they have default operators for each faction in the game right now, and the way that operator looks changes depending on what primary weapon the operator has. And those skins are cool. I wish you could just... I wish instead of tying that to whichever weapon you're using, they just had them as generic operators. So like operator 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because they look fucking cool. Like the allegiance operator for when you're using an assault rifle, that dude looks fucking dope. He's this Russian dude with a balaclava, and he looks fucking sick. But you only have him if you're using an assault rifle, which is annoying. So I wish I could just select him as a default operator so that I could always use him.
Yeah.
And they also need to release a cool coalition operator. We have Nikto and Kruger on the Allegiance side. Those are the two edgelord fucking gods that I love because I'm an edgelord fucking... Right?
Yeah. There it is.
But I need one for Coalition because no one on Coalition looks cool. There's no edgelords on Coalition.
Agreed,
give me someone with a balaclava. Give me someone with a scar. Give me someone with an eye patch for Coalition. Make it happen. I need an edgelord.
I want Dwayne The Rock Johnson in the game. I want to play.
Okay.
I want to play as Joe Rogan. Give me somebody like that.
As Joe Rogan, dude. Joe Rogan Coalition operator.
Give me Alex fucking Jones.
Oh
Give
my
me
god.
somebody.
I would play as Alex Jones all day. So
no.
Keep that in mind. Okay. So anything else on that?
Nope.
Okay. So the last section is general game commentary, IRL miscellaneous. Tanner made a note here. Give me a nuclear calling card now. Let me say it again because my voice cracked. Now.
Fucking now. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Yeah. So
Fuckers.
They reportedly, was this a leak or was this a Call of Duty dev confirmation about the new calling card?
It was a dev semi-confirmation on
was a tweet,
Reddit
right?
a while back. No, it was on Reddit. There's one of the devs, like the one that actually seems to care and always responds on Reddit to people. He said it was they had already been working on it, and I think it was just yeah, they had already been working on it, and he said like, look for that soon trademark logo.
Yeah, soon TM. Yeah. So
I was hoping in that last update. I'm hoping the next title update, just give it to me. Just fucking please.
I was hoping for the last update too. I really hope for season 2 that they have that.
Yeah.
And I think it's possible. I wouldn't say likely, but I would say if it's coming soon, then it will be in season 2.
Maybe that's part of the big updates. Maybe there's a bunch of new calling cards, new emblems in there.
Yeah.
New weapon skins. You know, maybe they're just putting a bunch of back end season 2 shit in there now.
That would be cool. Yeah, for sure. It's possible. Hopefully.
I'd be very happy with that. I think season 2 is going to be I have high hopes for season 2. I think it's going to turn the game around.
I do too. The game is growing on me. Like, I'm liking it more and more as I play it more. It's just so much different than BO4, but like now that I'm used to the pace and the sprint out time and shit, it's really fun, man. It's a good game, and it's just like ruined by fucking bugs, dude.
Yeah.
And shit maps.
I mean, I didn't ever think I'd get to that point where I, like consistently top 1, 2, or 3 on our team, top fragging like we were in Black Ops. But I've pretty much gotten to that point in this game, and you will be too pretty soon once you have Damascus. So
yeah,
I'm enjoying it.
We already have gotten there, really. I mean, every time I use an M4, I'm like, I'm 1 or 2 if you're playing with me. So
yeah.
What is this second point here, Tanner? Go ahead and cover that one.
Yeah, I got a second nuke, by the way. That's crazy. Damn, that's crazy. That was my first time I actually called in. First time I was able to call in because the game didn't bug. It was on Arklov again, too. A little Arky boy.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Tanner got a nuke like fucking 2 months ago. So he got the 30 kill streak. He had the nuke. The game was pretty close to ending. He tried to call it in and it bugged and he couldn't. So then he was looking for someone to kill him so that he could maybe fix the bug. Someone killed him. He starts dialing the number and the game ends.
Yeah, I was like 2 numbers in and the game ends.
So he got a nuke, but he didn't call it in. So I kept teasing him like, you didn't actually get a nuke, right? Because you didn't end the game with a nuke, right? And then I got a nuke and I actually pressed the button and called that shit in. And you can find that nuke, by the way, on my YouTube channel. So keep that in mind, which I've conveniently linked for you in Twitch chat if you're watching live. So anyways, I got a nuke before Tanner. That's the point of that. But he finally called his first nuke. He was using an HDR and an M4. What does that mean, HDR/M4? Did you run out of ammo and pick up an M4?
Yeah, I was using the HDR to get 3 kill streaks or something, and then I don't know, I got to like 12 kills or something, and I ran out of ammo. I'm like, oh, there's an M4 on the ground, and then hey, I have an M4, automatic easy nuke.
Yeah, easy nuke.
What is funny too is, how did it work? Didn't you got your nuke and then I got? No, it wasn't the next day. What happened? We got nuked in a lobby, and then the next game I got a nuke. Right? It was back to back. We were in a lobby together and we got nuked.
Yeah.
Remember that? Something like that happened. And then I got one the next game.
Because we got nuked on Grozna.
Yeah.
And we were like, I didn't even see this guy. And then the next game or 2 games later or something, you called one.
Yeah, it was literally the next game.
You can go for weeks without seeing a nuke in this game, especially if you play 10s like we do. Like if you play Ground War, you get a lot of nukes. You see a lot of nukes. But we play 10s a lot. You do not see a lot of fucking nukes in 10. I've seen fewer than 10 total, including me and Tanner.
Absolutely, yeah. Less than 10. That was my first time being nuked. Yeah, that was my first time being nuked. I've been on the team a few times, mine, yours, and then one lobby I joined late and Nate Gibson was in the lobby, and of course he got a nuke.
Yeah.
But other than that, that was the only time I'd ever been nuked before.
Yeah. So that was weird. That was weird. And then, so, by the way, the next episode of the podcast, unfortunately, won't be until February 12th, and that'll be at 8 o'clock Pacific time. And if you're listening to this on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or Spotify, or wherever the fuck you listen to podcasts, this podcast is streamed live on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Razinon. So if you want to watch live, join the chat. I'm sure you've realized by now I've been interacting with chat heavily, answering questions, reading comments. If you want to get in on that, make sure you're here live for the next one. And again, that's going to be February 12th at 8 o'clock Pacific. Normally, this is going to be a weekly podcast. But unfortunately, Tanner is going to yet another third world country next week. Or as we say in the PC culture of 2020, a developing nation.
Yeah, developing country for sure.
What developing nation will you be visiting next week?
Saint Martin.
Which
is an island.
Where
island
the
down there.
Fuck is that?
It's an island down in the Caribbean. It's by like St. Kitts, U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, etc. It's a little fucking bullshit island in the middle of the Caribbean.
Interesting. Okay. So anyway, Tanner's going to be over there. They don't have internet there yet. They're developing.
Okay.
So he's not going to be able to do the podcast, but he comes back and we'll be ready to do episode 4 of the podcast on the 12th at 8 o'clock Pacific time. what was I gonna say? So keep your eyes peeled for that. Crichton says, my buddy Pimp Daddy Peaches dropped 115 kills on shipment the other day. Not sure if that's good or not. That is good, Crichton. That's pretty high. We've seen higher though. I think Tanner, you got more than that today, didn't you?
No, I've gotten over 100 on shipment, but
dude, I'm pretty sure
a few times.
I'm pretty sure you got like 100. I don't know.
We didn't even play shipment today, did we?
Dude,
maybe
you got
yesterday.
over 100 kills today on shipment. Or no, yesterday.
No,
you're right. It was yesterday.
Yeah,
it was yesterday.
I got 90 a few times too, which pissed me. I got like 98 one time when I was playing with Ben 2 days ago. That pissed me off.
Interesting. You played with Ben?
Yeah, remember I was telling you it was my first time playing with Ben in like a month. I joined his lobby and I spawned behind him in a crate and just knife him in the back.
Oh. Okay. So we have some more things from the chat here. Bloodless TV corrected me and said it's a shithole. That's a that's a Trumpian way to say developing nation. I'll take it though. Heard it's awesome there at Saint Martin. Tanner should have a great time. Yeah, we're obviously kidding. It's like I think it's like a vacation destination for
it's
us rich white American pieces of shit.
Yeah, 90% of their country is based on tourism, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. They've been a tourist place for many decades. Get educated, Raz. Yeah.
Damn, shit on.
I'm an illiterate, ignorant American piece of shit. So keep that in mind. That 115 was with a nuke as well. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a little detail. That's a little detail.
I think the highest I ever got on a shipment was like a 15 or 16, and that felt crazy.
Getting a nuke on shipment is either really impressive, or you just spawn trapped and sat in a corner like a piece of shit. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, so just keep that in mind. And then lastly, Tanner's Damascus grind is completed. Congratulations for that, Tanner. Yeah, we'll do a little. So congratulations.
Yeah,
round of applause for Tanner.
It was fun. Gave me something to do. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, and now he's using kill chain and an M4 to boost his KD back up again.
Yeah,
so that's
exactly.
Cool.
Boosting that shit.
My Damascus grind is going very well. I got like literally a dozen plus guns gold in the last like 2 days because of shipment 24/7. It's such a good playlist to get fucking gold guns on. So I need the Mark II, the car, the Uzi, MP5, MP7, Bizon, and then the 4 launchers gold. And once I have those, I will have Damascus as well. And I have some progress on pretty much all of those. They're all max level, so I only have a couple camos. I don't have to do any 0 to 100s for those. So I should have Damascus pretty soon as well. And then my streams are going to get a lot better because I won't be fucking doing dumb camo bullshit. So that'll be cool. So
even today on Ramaza with kill chain, I went like 68 and 4. Like I haven't done that in a long time just because I get to use real guns now.
Yeah, and you don't have to like mount or like make sure you're crouched or make sure it's a kill after a reload or make sure it's a long shot. You know?
Yours is also going to get very fun in like 4 or 5 days because you'll be using SMGs and you'll just be having a good time and finishing it.
Oh, dude, I'm almost done with the Mark II and then the car, and then I'm on SMGs.
The Mark II was, I think, honestly one of the easiest guns to do.
So it's not going to be a couple days. Hey, stop. It's not going to be a couple days. It's going to be tomorrow. I'm going to be using SMGs.
Dude, you are going to be behind with these launchers then.
Yeah, I told you. I'm going to be...
Yeah, that's going to be the last thing you do.
That's for sure going to be the last thing. I'm kind of okay with that, though, because then I can just, like, run around and just fucking dunk on kids with an M4 and then kill streaks as they come. Yeah. And eventually I'll be done, so...
Yeah, true.
So that'll be good. So, anything else, Tanner?
Nope.
Okay. So that is it for us. Thank you for watching the Dropshot. The stream is going to continue. We're going to start fucking fragging out. Do you work tomorrow?
Yeah, I do, unfortunately.
You dumb piece of shit.
I have next week off.
All right. Well, I'll be fragging out for quite a bit tonight. So thank you all for watching the Dropshot. We're going to get some gameplay in right the fuck now. I would like to mention that for everyone listening in Twitch right now, the podcast is live on every podcast platform. So if you search for the Dropshot on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, you can listen to the podcast there as well if you maybe wanted to catch old episodes. I would very much appreciate if you guys could give a rating and maybe even write a review on iTunes about the podcast, because that really helps in the directory. And I want to get a lot of eyeballs and ears on this podcast to make it grow so that I get money, so that I can quit my full-time job, so that I can make content for you guys a lot more content. So please do that. Yeah, as always, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Tune in once again, February 12th, 8 o'clock Pacific time, for the Dropshot, a Call of Duty podcast. And until next time, young kings, stay humble.